to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
And this morning on the Ask the Pro series, we have Home Repairs and Solutions, brought to you by Spring Mountain Air, your #1 source for your heating and air conditioning needs. And now here's your hosts, Mary and Mark.
Good morning.
Well, good morning.
I'm glad to be back with you today,
I'm
Mark.
glad to have you back, Mary.
Yeah, I kind of had an
missed you.
emergency exit on you last Friday. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Hey, we all have those every now and then.
But I was fortunately my son was scheduled to be here, and so that worked out pretty
You know,
well. So
we had a good show last week. Nathan and Jeremy, we just kind of had a guys' day here, and and
That's
just
okay.
talked about a lot of things. A lot of things probably didn't pertain to home repairs, but we had a good time anyhow. So it was.
That's
fun.
what it's all about. We want to
Yep.
have fun.
Yep, that's right.
Want to have fun. Give out some good information, but have fun while we're doing it.
There you go.
So, and talking about good information.
Oh, we got it today.
We got some today.
Yes, we do.
We have Sam Blaine with us with Atlas Security. Sam hasn't been with us for a while, so welcome back to the show, Sam.
Hey guys, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
I
thanks for
appreciate being
coming
here.
again. You have one of those industries that, unfortunately, people are needing more and more, it seems like. Home security seems to be quite a topic of discussion here lately, even on the news and different things. So I would say you're probably staying pretty busy.
We're very busy. We're usually try to stay about maybe a week out for our installations. And I checked with our install manager the other day, and we're about at 3 weeks, and we're really trying to cut that down. So
Yeah, I hear you're even strapping on a tool belt today.
that's right. Yeah, yeah. So I love to do that, and that's a lot of fun and kind of keeps me fresh. So
You bet.
it's good stuff, and it's nice to be able to take care of customers like that too.
Yeah. It's good for business, and it's great that you're busy, but it's kind of unfortunate that we're kind of in an environment that we're having more issues with home security and different things like that. So I would just encourage anyone, if you don't have an alarm system, you might want to think about putting one on.
That's right.
It's pretty cheap insurance for safety reasons. So
It is. And, with me being in the construction industry, I made a call back a few weeks ago to Sam and about our construction jobs because, as you guys well know about the theft on the jobs, stealing the air conditioning units and everything else. I mean, we've been hit a time or two on our new houses. At our rough-in stage, they come in, take all the wiring and stuff out. So I called Sam and said, "Hey, what can we do about this?" And,
that's right. That's right.
To put that security system in the house, the cost is pretty minimal compared to what it cost us to replace all the wiring and stuff.
You bet. You bet
And,
it is.
So it's unfortunate that we have to do that. I remember growing up, in the industry around, my uncles all built and stuff, and I was always around the construction jobs, and very seldom did you ever have anything come up missing on a job,
Right.
and stuff. But it's just more and more nowadays you do.
It is.
Yeah, and
Unfortunately.
what we seem to find too is it's not just the stuff that's missing, and on a construction job sometimes, or even in a new home, or we're seeing a lot of vandalism. So
Right.
sometimes some of the stuff that's stolen, that stuff can be even kind of minimal. It's getting to this stuff, and sometimes
Right.
some of the things that they do afterwards that causes some major damage and repair and things like that. So we're trying to, one thing with the system is not only to protect people, but to cut down on that time that they're actually there. So as soon as that alarm does go off, that hopefully they leave.
Right, absolutely.
Well, guys, we got a caller already.
Well,
we have
do.
Tom from Christian County.
Absolutely.
Good morning, Tom. Are you there?
Good morning. Yes, I just I want to kind of weigh in on the subject that you mentioned last week, Mark, about your intro song that you have for your program here.
Yeah.
And I like to say this about it: if I were teaching Bluegrass 101, that would be mandatory listening.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Because it's all there. It's all there.
Oh, well, thank you.
It makes my whole weekend. Listen to KWTO all week just to hear
Well,
home repairs and solutions.
well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Kind of just a brief background on that song is back when I did the program for Herman Lumber back years ago. Why, they said we need a theme song, so I wrote it and recorded it, and then when I came on board with Mary here, the song had been lost. And so I had to try to remember all the words and go in and have my dad, my uncle, and them help me, and we re-recorded it, and I've always got a lot of comments off that. Everybody kind of gets a kick out of it.
It's a fun song.
Yeah, it is.
One other quick comment, if I may, regarding to your Bluegrass Association that you put together.
Sure.
And the fact that you has started to do some training for young bluegrass musicians.
Right.
I think that's something that's we needed a long time ago, and I'm glad that you're taking the lead on that, so we can keep this tradition alive.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Good bluegrass.
Yeah, and
thank you much.
All righty. Well, thank you, Tom. Appreciate the nice call there. So,
that was very nice.
It was.
I love your song. It sticks in your head. That's for sure.
I've had people tell me, gosh, I hear that, and I hear it in my head, for a day or two.
But it's a happy song.
The old saying is you can't be sad when you hear a banjo.
That's right. So. That's right. Absolutely.
Oh, well, we appreciate that call, Tom. And speaking of calls, 862-9977, 1-800-375-0056. Or if you want to send us a text message, you can do that today at 417-838-3192, and we'll read your question on the mail. Of course, we got Sam Blaine in here from Atlas Security. We're talking about securing your house and being safe, or we'll talk about whatever you want to.
That's right. Just talk about it's great to be alive in the Ozarks.
It is.
It is. And if you don't like the weather, wait 12 hours, it'll change.
Oh, it'll change. I mean, we got a beautiful day out there right now, and that is supposed to, change it. They're talking maybe a little chance of rain and stuff, but yeah, it's just kind of up and down. But something that speaking of the weather, something brand new that you have to offer is a keypad that'll tell you a little bit about the weather, right?
Yeah. Just recently, our manufacturer DMP that we use actually has the ability to do weather updates now. Through the keypad. So now our customers kind of have one more thing that they can have that they can refer to their keypad in the morning or when they're leaving that gives them a weather update for the day. So it's kind of a neat feature, and it doesn't cost anything. So you'd think that maybe there's something that went along with that, like some sort of monthly fee or something, but it's not. We just have a new touchscreen keypad that's a full color, kind of like a navigation screen, and on the left-hand side, it's got a little place that shows your weather for the day, and then on the middle, it actually has a spot for you to arm and disarm, and then on the right-hand side has a few more options, and so it's pretty neat and new. I don't even have one in my house yet, so I'm excited to get one put in myself and try it out. So it's pretty neat.
Cool.
I've got to see it in a couple of customers' homes, and they seem to really like it.
Oh, great. Now, are you yourself a big techie person? I mean, there's so much new technology that's coming out all the time.
Yep.
Do you try to keep up on all that yourself and utilize just like will you put one of those new pads in your house? Do you try to use the stuff
absolutely
so you can get familiar with it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be overwhelming at times, the pace that technology is moving. We kind of rely a little bit on our manufacturers and different things to keep us up to date. Because not only are we keeping up with security stuff, but we all have our iPhones and our Androids, and everything's changing much every day. And so I'm interested, being that this is what I do, I'm interested to see what happens in the next 6 months. I bet that we'll have stuff that we hadn't even thought of in 6 months that today we're really used to. One thing, as an example of something that's going away, is landlines. So that's not just pertaining to the security industry, but to anyone that has a landline. Those are going away, and people are doing voice over IP type internet lines and cell-based home phones and things like that. And it affects our business because some of our old systems were landline based, and now they're most of them are, I'd say 99% of them are cell-based that we sell now. So who knows what's going to happen in 6 months with the new thing is going to be. So, but I love keeping up with technology, and it, like I said, can be an overwhelming thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we were talking this morning at the coffee shop, me and my Uncle Russ, about, going back when I was a kid and being out on the construction jobs. When he got his first phone for his truck, it wasn't really a phone, but it came from Atlas.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, you picked up the microphone and you, just like on a CB radio or two-way radio, you called into the operator. She dialed the number for you and everything.
Yep.
And it was just so neat. But I thought that was the greatest thing ever was.
Yep.
And now look where we've gone just in, in 30 years, 40 years, however many, from that to what we have now. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Now, you talk about your systems are cell-based now.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to run wiring or anything. Is that correct? Is it wireless, or what's the difference? Is there a difference between wireless and cell-based, or?
Yes, that's a real common thing that when we start talking wireless or cell, people get kind of confused. So there's two separate subjects that we're talking about. One is the communication of the system. So when we say cellular, we're talking about the communication from your alarm system at your home or your business communicating to our central station. When we say wireless in our industry, a lot of people think wireless, they're thinking communication in their head. What we're saying when we say wireless is we're talking about the system itself. So the devices that are actually communicating to the control panel. So a door contact, a motion detector, a glass break, a smoke, some of those things. And so we have the ability to do both. We can do a hardwired smoke detector, or we can do a wireless smoke detector. The difference between the two, if you'd asked me to put wireless in your house 15 years ago, I probably would say no, because the technology wasn't there yet. They had it, but it wasn't as rock solid as it is today. Now today, we're doing a lot of wireless systems. Still, the thing that hardwired has a little bit of, that trumps the wireless a little bit, is the appearance. So sometimes when you get into wireless products, it may not look as good as what a hardwired. So an example for that would be a door contact. Mm-hmm. We can recess a door contact and make it look like it's not even there. With wireless, you have an actual device that's right there that's on the wall.
Right.
So that's the only downside, maybe to wireless. But there is a wireless product out there, and it's much, much, much better than what it was 10 or 15 years ago. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Are you seeing any wireless products in the heating and air business?
I'm not. Nathan might know more about that than I do, but I'm trying to think. I don't know what would be wireless at this point.
I didn't know whether there was thermostats that communicated wireless with the unit or anything like that.
Anything that I know about that, you still have to hardwire your thermostat in. So I don't think there's anything wireless yet.
I'm sure there will be one of these days.
I'm sure there will be. Yeah, I'm sure there will. Now, with some of your systems, though, Sam, do you have the ability to, like, if you leave your home and went, oh shoot, I forgot to set the alarm? Do you guys have the ability now to do that from a smartphone yet? I thought you did. You have an app or something? Is that how that works?
Yeah, we have two different ways to do it. The app is one way. So if you have a smartphone, like iPhone, Android, something like that, we have an app that you can disarm the system from. And then if you don't have a smartphone, we have the ability to do texting. So you can actually arm and disarm your system using texting. And so really, each one is great. It just depends on which one that you like better or what you like to do better. So it just depends on if you're an app kind of person or if you're a texting kind of person. So we have both. So you have kind of the ability to do. I have customers that do both. I have customers that do one or the other. I'm kind of a texting guy, but other guys in our office have the app and use the app. One thing that app or texting can also control is, you were talking about thermostats. We have the ability to control thermostats now. So we do a little bit of light home automation now. We're doing lights, locks, and thermostat. And so those are some neat, new, interesting things that we're doing. I will say that the app is a little bit more user-friendly when it comes to like turning a light on or off or controlling, the thermostat and things like that, because it's a graphic interface that's kind of in front of you, versus texting is something that you're having to remember a command to type in. Right. And so the app is very, very cool for that.
Now, we've had a lot of issues with people stealing air conditioners, and that is still going on, by the way, listeners out there. Just because it's wintertime doesn't mean they're not still stealing air conditioners in the winter. We just had a call, I think it was last week. We had to go out and give someone a price of replacing a air conditioner that just been stolen.
Yep.
But don't you have...
Did that happen to be at a church, by the way? 'Cause I heard about one here recently too. That
Yes, I think it was.
yeah,
I'm not sure.
We were actually called as well, and I mean we get those calls all the time, but this one was pretty new and relevant. But it was a church that had some air conditioning units stolen. So not only did they need someone like you guys at Spring Mountain Air to replace them, but they needed someone like Atlas to actually protect those units as well. So.
Right, and I was going to say, is there some way, like if someone cuts a Freon line or steals an air conditioner and cuts the wiring, is there something built into your system that can signal that?
Yeah, it's not necessarily built in as much as it is. What we have is we have devices out there that can report to ours. So what we'd put on there is I've heard people refer to it as there's a manufacturer called Watchdog, or there's one called the Whip. And so there's different manufacturers that have a device that actually mounts to the pressure, so into that unit that measures that pressure. So what we've seen that people have done is they've actually cut that line, they'll wait for it, and then they'll actually come back and steal it. So if you have one of those pressure...
That's typically how that works. They let that Freon leak out slowly.
Yeah.
Because if they cut that line, there's going to be a noise, and there's going to be, might draw some attention to it. So they pierce that line and let that pressure out.
And I guess there could be some injury possibly.
There can be some injury, yes.
And so they're smart, in what they do. But if we can do some things to help protect businesses and homes from that, and that pressure switch is a good one. So basically, usually the heating and air. So a technician from a Spring Mountain Air might install that, and then Atlas comes in and connects a wire to that unit and connects it to our control panel. So if that did drop in pressure, then it's actually going to set the alarm off. Another thing we can do too to supplement that is we can actually we've done beam detectors outside. We've done pressure switches from weight. So if that unit gets lifted, then it's actually going to go into alarm. They also make tilt switches, vibration switches. I don't necessarily recommend those because obviously that air conditioning
settles.
It settles, it moves sometimes. And so we just have to be smart in the types of devices that we choose to put on those so that it's going to work and not be a false alarm thing for our customers.
Right.
So.
Well, unfortunately, the theft of these items hasn't slowed down any. They're kind of picking up a little bit from what we can see. Talked to a gentleman last week, and he, and this is something else you have to be aware of, is they stole the old one, waited for the new one to be replaced, and came back and stole the new one.
Right.
Because then they'll resell the new one to someone else as a new system.
Right.
So he got to replace his twice. Now that's really frustrating.
Oh, that's absolutely.
So.
Yeah, and so that's a reason why if this does happen to you, that's why I'd love to, to partner with some of these HVAC companies like yours, because then you guys can inform your customers that, hey, we don't only need to replace this unit, but let's take some extra steps to help protect you and not just put that in and get it stolen again. We see it with construction too, where they come in and the electrician has come put all the wiring in. They come in and steal it, and then they have the electrician come back and put all the wiring in again, and then it gets stolen again.
Right.
And you're like, okay, what's wrong with this picture? We need to do something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we called you,
Aside from sitting there overnight with a shotgun trying to catch them.
Exactly. We can't live on the jobs. And, we're getting busier. We're getting more houses going and stuff. Things are starting to pick up a little bit. And you just can't be everywhere.
All the time.
All the time. And unfortunately, one of our houses that got hit was just around the corner from my construction manager, who's out there on the jobs all the time. But it just don't matter. They pick, you can't stand there and watch it.
No, well, you got to sleep sometime. Yeah,
exactly. And so you really need the extra help in protecting that.
And what's sad is usually what's happening is it's usually somebody that knows.
Yeah.
That knows you. I'm not saying that all of them are like that, but usually they either know you or they're keeping a close eye on what's going on, and they somehow have some sort of inside track on what's going on. So that's why we just need to stay ahead of the game.
Yeah, we got to. So, because it costs, not only us, it costs, the insurance companies, if you have insurance, which you should. that'll cover that. But sometimes when it's $1,200-1,500, it's not worth turning in on the insurance. So
Right.
So it comes out of the builder's pocket, and in turn we have to recover that. So it just drives the price of houses and stuff up. So it's just a bad deal.
And insurance companies love us. They
Sure.
love security.
Oh, yeah.
So they'll actually reward their customers by giving them discounts on their insurance by having monitored burglary systems, monitored fire systems.
Sure.
A new thing because of technology that I've been hearing from certain insurance companies is they'll actually give not only a break on the burglary and the fire portion of the system, but they'll even go as far as to say, okay, what type of communication is this communicating to the central station? And if it's cellular, they're giving additional discounts based on that. So the insurance companies are recognizing that phone lines are going away, or phone lines can be easily cut, and so we're going to reward our customers that actually have cell-based communicators in their alarm systems.
Right. Anything we can do to protect ourselves.
And it's always good to get a break from your insurance company.
Absolutely. That's always a good thing.
Looks like we're up on a break. We just got the message,
Wow.
so I think that we're going to have to go away for a few minutes, but we'll be right back shortly.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
Here's news on the Ozarks News Network. A standoff has ended in Taney County. Taney County Sheriff Jimmy Russell says Johnny Del Bryan was arrested after deputies fired tear gas into the house where he was hiding. In December, Bryan led deputies on a high-speed chase after he tried to run over a deputy. Bryan faces charges of resisting arrest, assaulting a law enforcement officer, armed criminal action, and property damage. The Missouri State Highway Patrol has arrested a man following a chase down I-44 in a tractor-trailer. A spike strip was used to stop the truck, and the driver was pulled out of the cab at gunpoint. The truck had been reported stolen. And a state representative from St. Louis has filed a bill in the Missouri legislature to outlaw assault weapons in the state. Representative Roy Ellinger's bill would make it a Class C felony to manufacture, import, possess, purchase, sell, or transfer any assault weapon or large-capacity magazine. The bill has not been scheduled yet for a hearing. For the Ozarks News Network, I'm Arlen Summers.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
KWTO AM 560 is now streaming the Rush Limbaugh program. Go to radiospringfield.com, click on the KWTO icon, and click Listen Live, 11 to 2 Monday through Friday and 1 to 4 on Saturday.
Jerry Doyle, the fastest-growing talk radio network program with the third-largest show in America, is the newest addition to KWTO AM 560's broadcast lineup. The Jerry Doyle Show is conservative, entertaining, controversial, and live. Monday through Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. with a repeat hour from 8 to 9. Listen to Jerry and his guests discuss today's top issues or call in live with your own opinion. The Jerry Doyle Show, 6 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday on KWTO AM 560. Good health is the most important thing we have. Dr. Brian McDonald from the Chestnut Wellness Center is on KWTO AM 560 every Monday at 2 p.m. to answer your questions about alternative ways to stay healthy. Dr. McDonald is an acupuncturist, chiropractor, and expert in Chinese medicine with years of experience in holistic health practice. Listen to Dr. Brian McDonald from the Chestnut Wellness Center every Monday at 2 p.m. on KWTO AM 560, the talk of the Ozarks.
Sunny skies, breezy and cooler today, high high of 40. Cloudy and cold tonight, we're down to 24. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, high of 38 as we start the weekend. Low of 28 tomorrow night. Sunday will be sunny, breezy, and warmer. The high gets back up to 57. Turning cloudy, but it will be warm again on Monday. There is a chance of rain as we start the work week. Monday's high, 52. I'm AccuWeather's Jason Lord.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, you need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions.
Welcome back to the second half of Home Repairs and Solutions. We're brought to you by Spring Mountain Air, right here on KWTO 560 AM.
That's right.
Our guest today is Sam Blaine with Atlas Security. And, you know, we've been talking about all kinds of neat things that you can provide to our listeners, but we have not told them how to get a hold of you.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we probably need to give out some contact information and some things like that so our listeners can find out or know who to call.
Absolutely. Yeah, so our phone number obviously is area code 417, but it's 831-2866. And then our website would just be atlassecurity.com. So that's 2 S's in there. So you've got ATLAS security.com.
Now, if they go to that website, like we were talking earlier, that new keypad that you were talking about that had the weather and all that, it actually shows one of those on there. Is that correct?
I believe it does.
On the website?
Yeah, I think
So
we do have that on there.
if someone's interested in that type of technology and wants to kind of check that out, they can go to your website and see what that looks like and kind of get some more information on that. So
Yeah, and if they need any more information than that, because if there's something on there, it may be a picture, but they can do a couple things. One, we can send them something, through email, if they want some sort of spec sheet or they want to see something. Also, if they want to just drop down and to our office and see it, one of our guys at the office, Brian, he actually installed a new one at our front desk area, and it looks really cool, and it looks neat. And so we're over at 1309 East Republic Road. That's in between Fremont and National, right there, and we're on the north side. And just pop into our office, and that's one thing we do challenge, some people on is how often can you come down to your security company's building, come in, visit, and we'll even give you a tour of some of the building and some of the things that we do there. And so come in and check out the new keypad and play with it. So
I'm going to have to do that. You're just down around the corner from my office.
There you
so,
go.
Yeah, I'm going to
There
have
you
to
go.
come in there sometime, just walk through and
absolutely.
take the grand tour.
Yep.
So, yeah, that'd be
That'd
fun.
be good.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to do
now,
that.
is this the office where all the monitoring goes to?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, I
Yeah.
think that would be neat. You could go down. What I like about you guys is all your monitoring is right here local. It's not being sent to, Taiwan or
Right.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Send it overseas and then back again 3
Yeah.
times and all that stuff. So,
There's a certain amount of value in that, I think, and at least I think
Oh,
our
absolutely.
customers that we have customers that have been fantastic because they've been with us since the beginning, since '62, and so one thing that we hear from our customers that they like is that they're monitored from Springfield by Springfield people. So when the alarm goes off and it's National, Glenstone, Kearney, some of these streets that we recognize, they have a certain amount of knowledge base on Springfield, and they have a certain amount of sympathy for Springfield residents too, in the surrounding area.
Right.
So, you can imagine if our central station if we were to actually decide to stop doing that locally and use someone in, across the country, like in California or something, if an alarm comes up and pops in front of their screen, one, they're not going to know necessarily where it is, and two, they're not necessarily going to have much sympathy for that particular resident or that particular business owner. And so that's one thing that I think sets our company apart is that kind of family-oriented aspect that we bring. So we care and concern about our customers, and I think that's very important in what we do. So
Absolutely, very important.
yeah.
Do you have very many false alarms come through?
We do. I'd say a lot of alarms could be false. It's not necessarily from faulty equipment because we're on top of that. So if there's a door contact that's bad or something, that can happen. But we're on top of that, and we nip those in the bud and make sure that those don't happen. But it is electronic equipment, and things can happen like that. I'd say the majority of them are homeowners and business owners that have accidentally done something. And so we have to be on our toes, though, because it's kind of a cry wolf thing. So let's, take your house as a hypothetical for an example, and you let the dog out at 2 a.m. because he needs to go out, and whoops, I didn't turn the alarm off. Well, you can, we're going to call you either way.
Right.
But Atlas, we don't mind if you do that. That's what we're here for. But I'd say out of those alarms, I'd say, 8 out of 10 alarms could potentially be a false alarm thing. But each time that our operators are doing that, they have to be on their toes like this is the real thing. So they have to remain professional, remain quick, and keep going. So that's a great question because we do get a lot of false alarms.
Right.
But we just have to keep going and pretend that this is real, like that we have to take care of them.
So they're all handled like it was an actual
Absolutely.
emergency. So
yeah, we err to the side of this is the real deal. This is happening. And because we're so quick on that, that's why I love hearing emails that go out within the company internally when we'll get an email out from our central station manager saying, thanks to Charles, we have caught this burglar because we actually responded to it in this way. It was this quick. We did the correct thing, and the police department thanks us for that. That's what keeps me going every day. I love hearing those stories that we actually we did something that helped to protect someone in the community, which is really neat.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
if someone, say for instance, someone buys a house and maybe they had an old alarm system in there and it's not been active for a number of years for whatever reason, or maybe a different company put it in, or whatever the case may be, what happens then if you want to come in and you want to update the system? Because some of those keypads and stuff from older units, they're pretty large, or you have different technology now. So what do you do with all of that stuff? I mean, if you take that off the wall, is there like a hole in the wall? Or I mean, how difficult is it to come in and take out an old existing or an old system and install one of your new higher tech systems?
There's a lot of answers to that question, because one, we can usually sometimes, depending on how old it is, we can work with that system.
Okay.
So we do have, for example, let's just say it's a 20-year-old system that's landline based. We can actually come in there with equipment that's cellular based that we can connect to that system. So it kind of piggybacks on that system. And we only do that if the customer is comfortable with the system. We have some customers say, I don't want to change what I've done for the last 20 years and how I arm and disarm the system. And as long as we look at it and things are functioning properly, then we can do that. Now, there are other times, which this week actually I went out, and it makes more sense for us to actually take this equipment out because it's outdated. The customer does want it to be updated. And they want some different things. And one of the functionalities that it does offer that we can't do with the old systems is the texting and the app and some of the things that we talked about earlier. So when we do the complete switch over, it makes it definitely makes us look better because we're actually monitoring newer equipment.
Okay.
So service-wise, monitoring-wise, we can do a better job. And so I personally like switching equipment out. But we never want to do something to incur an extra cost on the customer. And so we have packages that we've put together for some of these takeovers, so it helps keep costs down. And so as far as aesthetically, like when you're asking about pulling it off the wall, there are some times when the keypads it's fine, our keypad covers. There are other times when it does leave a hole or it leaves something, and that does happen. We usually work close with different people that we know that are contractors because there are going to be sometimes holes left. Or a real common thing is wallpaper from the 1970s, and they put a keypad up and they wallpapered around the keypad or something. And we see that a lot. And so there's a couple options there. One, if our keypad is smaller and it's showing the wallpaper, sometimes the customer makes a decision at that point. Maybe it's time to update the wall too. But that doesn't always happen. So we do actually have back plates that we use.
Oh, okay.
So that's not always the best option, but sometimes if they don't want to have to redo an entire wall, whether it's a wallpaper or whether it's a textured wall or something like that they don't want to have to redo, we have back plates that actually can help retrofit some of that. And so it's a cheap alternative to put something up to cover some holes and to get the new technology in without kind of sacrificing the aesthetics of it. So, yeah, that's the long answer to your question.
Okay. Well, and the reason I ask that is because I know that in this little house in Springfield, there is a system in there, and I don't know, but the keypad is enormous, and I'm thinking, whoa. What would you do if you wanted to, take this off? I have no idea what it looks like behind there. And I'm thinking,
Yeah.
What do you do in that
No,
situation?
I one thing I have done in that situation, if it is like just huge, and I have had customers go, could you just leave it and put your system in, down the hall or something, or maybe put a keypad in my bedroom, quite honestly. Back in the 60s, 70s, a popular location was the front door.
Front door, yeah.
And so a lot of people used their front doors more, whereas now we use like our garage entry door a lot. And so sometimes I've had the customer like, well, don't take that off the wall. Let's just leave it. And let's put my keypad in the master bedroom or something like that. The only downside to that is, especially sometimes for older folks, it could be confusing. Like, they're still trying to go to that old keypad and push something. So if I were to warn anybody about anything, it would be that. Just realize that, and we usually power that thing down completely to where it doesn't light up, it doesn't function, it doesn't do anything. But we have had some customers that have gotten confused by that if we were to leave, something up. So that would be the only.
Well, so where is is by a door still the ideal location to put that?
It really, we customize our systems based on the customer. So if I were to go to your house, for example, I would talk to you about your routine, and how do you operate and give you some options based on, because there's several different ways to arm and disarm that system. Obviously the keypad, and we talked about the app and the texting, but we also have remotes. So some people well, I don't want to use the keypad. I'm not really up on the whole texting thing, and I'd really like a remote, kind of like my car, to turn it on and off. And we can do that too. And so a real popular thing, and I'd say it's kind of graduated. So back in like the 60s or 70s, it was kind of the front door. And then it kind of graduated to the garage entry door. And then it kind of graduated to, let's do all the doors. So I've seen systems with like 4 or 5 keypads in a home.
Wow.
And it's overkill.
Yeah.
My house, for example, has 3 keypads. I don't need them all. It's overkill. I kind of did it because I could, and I don't really need them. So what I've found is I use my master bedroom keypad the most because that's where you arm and disarm the system from at night. So that's usually the last place that you are. You're in your bedroom, you're getting ready to go to bed at night, and you turn the system on from there. So it's very convenient. It's right there. But coming and going from the house, a lot of our customers are using the texting and they're using a remote. So they don't necessarily need a keypad at the garage entry door. So it's kind of a cost savings for the customer too, that we're telling them, hey, you don't have to put keypads everywhere. You really need one, but the smartest place I think to put that's the bedroom. Another reason for that is our keypads have panics built into them. So you've got burglary, medical, and fire right on the keypad. Well, where is that? If something happens in the middle of the night, it's in your bedroom. It's right next to you. Another neat thing about that is our keypads have a display that actually shows you what's happening. So picture in the middle of the night, Mary, if the alarm goes off and you start to hear the siren, if you didn't have a keypad in your master bedroom and it was all the way across the house, you don't know where that's coming from. So you really don't know what plan of action to take. So if you have a keypad in your bedroom letting you know where it's coming from, you then have a plan. Well, that's back door. Okay, I know where that's coming from. It's nice communication to you about that.
So if someone's coming in the back door, I'm going out the front door.
Right. So and I tell people that, and that's a good point is, the security system, is a good early warning, to let you know what's going on, and it's actually good for dispatching immediately for police or fire or whatever's going on. But still, the homeowner, the business owner, whoever's there, they still have to have a plan. What are you going to do, at that point? And so that's something that you need to get together with your family, and that's something that we can help with too, to say, what are you going to do next? You know, what's the plan here? And so you need to have some sort of exit strategy or something that
well,
you're
and to
do.
have an exit strategy, you need to know where the issue's coming from in the house. If you know, a lot of houses now have multiple doors in them. I mean, I think our house in Nixa, we had 7 or 8 doors to go in and out of. So that's a lot of different doors that someone could access. Well, I don't want to run into that person trying to get out. I want to go the other direction. If that's my plan is to get out, then you want to get out a door that they're not trying to get in.
Sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I think that would be real important to have that information readily available so you know how to execute your plan of action.
Now, another thought is the texting feature that I like, since it does send that notification, it can also send those things too. So say you have a family member that is set up on that plan for your system with you, and say you're the only one home, well, they're getting notified too, because a couple ways. One, Atlas is probably going to have them on some sort of call list, so we're going to be calling them. But if they're set up through that texting, they're actually going to get notification that way as well. Several times during the day, I've actually had my alarm go off, and it's actually, in actuality, it was my wife coming in and she didn't, disarm it or something, or one of my kids went out a door or something. But I'm getting notified, so I'm immediately also calling my wife within seconds, checking to make sure what's going on. So you've got multiple things happening. You've got Atlas checking on you. You've got potentially Atlas dispatching police or fire. You've got your spouse and family and friends checking on you. So it's this real quick response to whatever's going on, because you have all these different ways through technology.
Right.
So.
And I can also see how it would be great if you had, say, teenage kids at home, and you knew that they were getting in from school at a certain time. And, because parents work and, you always can't be there to be, when your kids get home. Like what we do, like the text I get from DRC, I know when that alarm is armed, when it's disarmed, this, that, and the other. So it'd be great to have that peace of mind to know when your child disarmed that to go in, that you would get that text.
Absolutely.
Or when they armed it. It also kind of be neat to, I guess you could put your kids in there and set it and say, if you leave, I'm going to know about it. You know how
That's true.
Teenagers
That's
work.
true.
So
That's true.
Yep.
So, but I can see where that'd be handy to kind of monitor who does go in and out of your house. You would know. So.
And you can give some people want to set up. You may or may not have heard of this, but you can put certain user codes into most alarm systems. So say, take your home, for example, and you put like 6 different codes in there. Well, that can be good and that can be bad, to put that many in there. So sometimes with this remote capability, I keep my user codes down to 1 because I want to be able to control that. I don't want to give a bunch of codes out necessarily to a bunch of people. I want to be able to control that. So one thing I did additionally on my system is I actually have remote control of my garage door. We can actually do locks on doors as well. So if you wanted your front door to be able to be remotely controlled, you could do that. So take, for example, you're going out of town. You've got a friend of yours that's going to come feed the dog and water the plants. Well, what if you give him a code? If you give him a code, you're trusting him with that code.
Sure.
What if he can't make it that day and Frank tells Judy to come over to the Blaine house to actually disarm it, and now Judy knows the code. And so now Frank and Judy both know the code, and now you're trusting that Frank's trust with her, and it just starts to compound and complicate. And so why not have remote control of that system yourself, and actually when they get there, you can disarm it for them. You can open a door for them. You can open the garage for them, whatever you want to do.
Oh, yeah.
And so I actually tested that out. I was in Florida, and I actually had a friend of mine come into the house, and I said, when you get there, you call me or you text me, and I'll open the garage for you, and I'll disarm the system. So I did that. And when he left, he let me know he was leaving, and I did the reverse, and I armed that back.
Yeah.
So, one, I know when he's coming and going. I have control of it. And then at the end of it, I can arm that whole thing back and have that peace of mind to know that it's back the way that it was. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
We have a caller.
Yes, we do. Let's talk to Gloria. Holding on. Go ahead, Gloria.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Is this, so what company is this? Is this Atlas?
It is. Atlas, yep.
Okay, and so is that who I would call if I wanted you to come out and, do you come out and give a bid?
Absolutely, yeah. We'll come out and give you a free estimate and
what's the number there?
The number for Atlas is 831
831
2866.
2866. Do I ask for anyone in Pacific?
You'll probably want to speak with Randy.
Randy.
Jonathan will answer the phone, and he's from South Africa, so he'll have an accent, and you'll think that we've outsourced our calling, but we haven't. He is in Springfield, and we guarantee it. And you can come down and visit him, but he'll forward you over to and get you over to Randy, and Randy will definitely take care of you.
Well, one thing that really interests me, I'll be 74 next month.
Okay.
And I live by myself, and that's the medical.
Yep, we do that.
So you can push this button and.
Absolutely. Yep, we have that. We have that available. So,
that's good.
Yep. So
Okay,
we can definitely take care of that for you, and we're monitoring you here. So when you push that button, it's not going to, California or something. It's actually coming to Atlas Security here in Springfield.
Right. Well, where I live, the police do get here in a hurry.
Good.
Yeah, so that's a good thing. But okay, well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling, Gloria. Yeah, that was a question I had. So regardless of if you push the medical button or the fire button, that still all goes to you guys.
Absolutely.
And then you dispatch
the appropriate
person depending on what was pushed. Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
And there's a couple different ways to do that, and we didn't get into it right there with her, but we have burglary systems that we can set up medical panics on, so they hit that button and we automatically dispatch ambulance, medical. Or we also have two-way systems that are medical-only systems. And some people like that because maybe they don't want a burglary system. They don't want a fire system. They want a medical-only alarm, and they want a two-way voice thing. And so we have product that actually, when you hit that button, we come on, and we come on the speaker of that unit, and we're actually talking to you. So, Mary, if you hit that button, it'd come on and say, "This is Atlas Security. Do you have a problem?" And you may or may not be able to answer that. So if we don't get an answer from you, we're dispatching immediately.
Right.
So we're gonna once again err to that side that there's an issue, because if we can't hear you, we're assuming that there's a problem.
Right.
And so it's very quick.
Yeah. Wow. Your number one more time.
One more time, area code 417-831-2866, and then our website is just atlassecurity.com.
Great.
And give out your address again for someone who might want to come down and actually visit with someone there at the store and maybe see some of the new products you have available.
Yep, 1309 East Republic Road, and that's Springfield, and that's in between Fremont and National on the north side.
Okay.
Yep.
So easy to find.
Easy to find.
Yeah. So, hey, I got something new I want to tell about real quick.
What's that, Mark?
If you are a Facebooker, I want y'all to get on Facebook and type in DRC Properties Inc., and I set up a new Facebook page that shows the new siding that we're putting on our house out there in Republic. So if you don't want to drive out there to Schuler Ridge, you want to see the siding, what it looks like, it is fantastic. It's gone up. We got enough of it up where you can really see. Got some good pictures of it. So like me on Facebook. It's DRC Properties Inc.
DRC Properties Inc. Okay.
So something new I'm doing.
That's great. That's great. You are just getting into this
Oh,
technology.
boy, I tell you.
We figured out we could text questions, and now you're on Facebook.
Yep.
I'm
there I
impressed,
am.
Mr. Mark.
Well, thank you, Mary. So, what you got going this weekend?
I'm going to go home.
Okay. Don't blame me there at all.
Going to the lake.
All right. Sounds fun.
That's what I'm doing.
Sam, thank you for being here. We
Hey,
appreciate
thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
the service that you provide for everybody. So
Thank
come
you.
back.
I do want to remind folks the chili cook-off's going on down there, and my son is going to be cooking, and he's going to be dressed up like a Harlem Globetrotter. It'll be worth
boy.
it just to see him.